Hey, welcome to another session of the Champion's Perspective. I'm Smitty. I'm your host tonight. Season 2, Episode 3. No, Episode 2. Boy, I missed that one. We have a special guest champ appearance with us, Brian Puffer, 2014 and 2017 champ. Brian Puffer, what do you got to say, buddy?
Woo! Coming for you, bitches! 2018! What?
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. We also have with us a special guest analyst, Tim Kovac.
What's going on, everybody? Bears. Help me pull out a victory this week. 2-0. Coming for Puffer this year.
Glad to have you guys with us. Timmy, let's not waste time. Let's get right to it. Let's go over last week's games and what you thought about them. I'm going to get right to share screen here. Go ahead, buddy.
All right. I just want to bring it to everybody's attention. I was 5 out of 6 last week with my calls. I only missed one game. So let's see. We'll start off with Pimpin' and Breezy versus Gurley. Puffer's team did come back to earth last week. Wasn't the big blowout that he had week 1. But Smitty's team underperforming, especially without Deontay Freeman being hurt. Puffer kind of walked away with it.
Josh Gordon, the kicker.
Hey, also, Timmy, I don't know if you checked the benches, but I left 40 points on the bench for a close game there, kid.
It is what it is. What's bench points get you? Nothing.
Nah, nothing.
Next up is one for my homies versus Mac Chase. I also called this one right. Ron walked away with it. Mac's team, kind of banged up. LaShawn McCoy got hurt. Maybe one of these days, Ron will put Mahomes in there for his team's sake name and really scare the shit out of some people.
Whoa. Let me stop you right there. I'm pretty sure you used to be Matty Ice baby and you sat him and you named him something else and he went off for 30. Maybe.
True.
Let's talk about that later.
We can, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he starts him and then it pulls a Davis where when Davis starts somebody, they just suck an ass and they just underperform.
Show. Me and Puffer call that the.
We'll get to that. That's next. That's coming up.
Me and Puffer have a name for that. It's called the Matty issue. We'll talk about that later.
So next up is Wrecking Crew. Got to find my notes. 1 second. Wrecking Crew versus Martial Law. This is the one I didn't pick right. Pete's team grossly underperformed. Gronk Monster, David Johnson, and Alex Smith all let Pete down. Cole's team trucked along Steady Eddie and actually went above and beyond. He gave him the old Minnesota train right up the old 2-hole. So, nah.
TK, would this be a shit the bed alert?
For who? Pete?
For Pete Lamb, underperforming.
Pete's gonna be in trouble.
Did he shit the bed in this game?
No. The only reason he shit the bed is because Cole stuffed all those beads in there and pulled it out like a lawnmower. Made him shit the bed.
Yep.
Minnesota Viking, anal beads. Call them what you will, I guess. Next up would be D's Nuts versus Fake's Mustaches. Like we talked last week, Big Ben at home just crushed it. But, Davis being Davis, just like last week, left the winning player on his bench. Davis sitting at 0-2 could very easily be 2-0, but he's still working on his lineup configurations.
One thing I can tell you about Davis is he sucks.
Gingers don't have souls.
Puffer, being awfully quiet. That happened to be a division game. Do you have anything to say about that game?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I thought it would be. Davis's team doesn't really impress me. I think Ben overperformed a little bit. Not really worried about either one of those two, to be honest. Let's keep moving.
Smoking like a true champion.
Next up is Tribe Time versus Free Bill Jobs for everybody. Nick kind of like Cole banked on one team, so he's going to kind of live and die by those Texans. Bill's team didn't underperform, but not as poorly as week 1. He's getting back to, it wasn't an embarrassment, I guess. But I think even with his optimal lineup, he wouldn't have pulled out a W there. So it is what it is.
Hey, Tim, I got a question. What do you consider an embarrassment?
I don't know.
You beat more than 50 points almost?
Well, you got 90 points.
He got embarrassed.
He would have beat Pete. He would have beat a couple people this week.
That's not saying much.
I ain't saying much, but it's saying something. That's all I'm getting at. Just let that's all. He's my brother.
I can appreciate that.
That's some brotherly love.
Right. Next up is Drop It Like It's Hot versus Shags Lotopus. Like I called it last week, I took the W there because projections are for pussies.
Yep.
The Bears brought it home for me, and 2-0, sitting at the top.
2-0.
Down to the rest.
Heck yeah, brother. Let's jump into next week's efforts, and let's go for your Pick'em Tuesday here.
Sounds good. Pimpin' Name Breeze. What do we do?
No.
Oh, it's changing up on. Sorry, jumping the gun here. So we got Pimpin' Name Breezy versus Fake Mustaches. Unfortunately, Smith, on this one, I got to pick Ben. It looks like you just picked a bunch of guys off the waiver wire. You're crossing your fingers, hoping.
Hashtag I need a trade. Hold on, TK. Hold on. I got a connection trouble. You all right? Test. All right, I got no sound off you.
Guys.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll run that back. Pimpin' Ain't Breezy versus Fake Mustaches. I am picking Ben on this one. Smitty's team looks like he pulled a bunch of guys off the waiver wire and hoping they perform like drafted players. Ben, on the other hand, he is running Steeler heavy and big. It is what it is. Truth hurts sometimes. He is running Big Ben, who his home away splits are fucking outrageous, but it should be a shootout. So I'm thinking even if he does play poorly, Big Ben will do well, which means Big Ben and Antonio Brown, who Ben has stacked, which equals Ben gets the W. Next up would be the Wrecking Crew versus Mac Chase. I think I picked Mac on this one. Give me 1 second here.
Oh, battle the 0-2s, Timmy.
Right. Actually, I picked Pete on this one. Pete wins. Pete needs Gronk and Alex Smith to get back to normal. And he's hoping that the Browns do something for him. But I picked Pete to win that one.
Browns D versus Jets. I mean, they got a rookie out there. I mean, potential for a 20-point game.
He's going to score some points, and we'd all love to see a W. So, go Pete, go. Next up would be the martial law versus one for my homies. I picked Ron on this one. Actually, you know what?
What?
I picked Marshall on this one.
Upset alert.
Yeah, upset alert. I do think Ron is going to start Mahomes, but Mahomes is going to come back like a first-year starting quarterback and play like a normal human being. Whereas
I'm just looking at projections right here. It's got Cole at 116, and it's got Ron at 108. I mean, that's an upset if I've ever heard of one.
Oh, that's not an upset then.
Yeah. Wait, didn't you pick Ron to win?
I switched it to Cole.
Oh, you're a goddamn bandwagoner.
Hey, Tim, I think that's the right call, buddy. I agree with you. I think Cole's going to win this matchup.
Well, ESPN won that one.
Cole's team does 10 to 18 points every guy. If Mahomes has a bad game, comes back to earth, which I think he will, then Cole wins.
One thing I know about Marshall is he'll overthink his team and he'll have a turd in there.
That'd be great. Nothing like Marshall lays a turd on the field. You can just see him.
Go ahead, champ. You got something to say there, champ?
Yeah, just like Ron did last year with Kareem Hunt. Get about 2 or 3 games in a film on a new guy. Defenses are going to start playing on Mahomes a little bit better, a little bit tighter. So those numbers of 50 points are probably going to be dwindling pretty quickly. I agree with Timmy on this one.
Especially this week when he starts them. He's going to Davis it right up. He'll go from 50 to like 15, and he'll be like, what the fuck?
All right, let's move on. There you go. Heckling assholes.
Next, we got D's Nuts versus Gurley, which is Davis versus Puff. Davis's team is actually like The Walking Dead. He's got 2 big question marks if they're even going to play. Puff's team takes the win. You know, Gurley, Hill, Rodgers equals too much for Davis.
It equals too much for most anybody.
Not your mouth. Next up, we have free bill jobs for everybody versus Shags Lotopus. Al has a bunch of good matchups this week. Al's going to take home the W. Bill's still waiting for that first win, and it's unfortunately not coming this week.
Bill going to be 0-3, hanging tight to that toilet trophy.
Last but not least, we have Grop It Like It's Hot versus Tribe Time. That's me versus Nick. Once again, I'm going to walk away with this one, start the season 3-0. He's banking on the Texans. The Texans are going to lay a big fucking shitstorm for him, and it is what it is. 3-0 for Timmy K.
We're looking forward to looking how your future picks go out here, Timmy. You've, 5 out of 6 last week. We're pretty proud of that. Shows that you know what you're talking about. Be nice if we get the law averages, get 3 weeks out of you, but right now, pick 'em champion.
Well, Timmy, I got bad news for you. I'll be at that Texans game, and not only am I going to send video of Saquon Barkley tearing it up, I'm also going to send you video.
Oh, I didn't mean to ask you about that, Pup. How did you do last week? What, did you get like 10 points? 10 fucking points? Come on. Come on.
Marathon. That's
taking his yellow jacket back yet? You taking that yellow jacket back? Oh, Saquon.
That's the truth. Okay, right now we're going to do a special edition of Champ to Champ. Me and Brian Puffer, we're going to talk about what teams have a chance to be champ this year and what teams have a chance to be a chump. So, Puffer, why don't you go ahead and you want me to share a screen, Puffer, on the divisions of the teams? You want to go over them that way?
Yeah, sure. You can throw them up there just for the crowd to see. But hey, Ryan, let's talk about what it takes to be a champ these days. You're a 3-time champ. What's your make of a champ mentality?
It's a lot of grinding. It's a lot of grinding, Brian. You gotta do your research. You gotta check the guys out. You gotta know who's got potential to play. But in my thing, you got to know who you can trade for, who you can make some money happen. Let's throw a little bit here and get a little more there, and you just got to know the game. How about yourself, Brian?
Very good. I'm all about consistency. I need guys who are going to perform week in, week out, and then the guys, the big name guys, they got to perform. They got to perform a little bit better than the rest. So, just like anybody else, if they don't perform, it could be a long year for you. So. But let's get into it. I like your title here. Champs versus chumps.
Right. I was a little caught off guard there. Let me find the standings here.
So just for the audience to know, we're going to go through the lineup of the each division, and we're going to pick who we believe are the champs, and then we're going to pick who we believe are the chumps. So we have 3 potential champs. And we're going to go with we're going with 2 or 3 potential chumps, right?
I'll leave it up to you, champ.
All right, we'll do 3 and 3.
All right, everybody got the divisions up on their board?
It's coming up there. So, all right, we'll start with the potential champs first because the champs are always in the lead, right? So we'll go with the good. My potential champ pick for this year for the good is Mr. Cole Marshall. I believe his team is set to take the long haul. If he had 2 receivers in the same team, I'd want him to be on Minnesota Vikings right now with the way they're playing. And Deshaun Watson, A.J. Green, I think he's built for success. He's going to have a few bad weeks. I don't think he's going to run away with it, but I think he's the overall favorite for me.
It's good drafting by Cole. I agree with you.
Yeah. We'll go to the bad. Obviously, I got to pick myself. I got another 3-headed monster with Rodgers, Gurley, and Tyreek Hill. I think they're going to do well. The rest of the group, I'm not sure. I do want to make a special call out to it's really to nobody in there. So. But
it's a little hurtful, but I'll eat it.
I know. But and then we get to the ugly. In this one, I'm going to go with Nick Holbrook. I think Nick Holbrook has the team. I really like Cam Newton. I like Christian McCaffrey. Those guys have been consistent over the last couple of weeks. I think they're going to continue to do that. If you're going to pick some guys off the Houston Texans, well, there's only 3 guys that score touchdowns, and he's got them. And I think they're going to put some points up. However, what we don't see is Mark Ingram sitting on his bench. So once Mark Ingram gets back from suspension and he gets back into Mark Ingram form, we're going to be in trouble for the long haul with him. So I think he's got a team that could be possibly deep in the playoffs. Of course, he'll probably lose to me again, but we'll get there when we get there.
Well, going with that, Puff, I mean, you pick Cole, who's sitting second. He's probably adjusted that way for points. You picked yourself, who's the top of that division, and you picked Holbrook, who's third in his division at 1-1. But you've analyzed these teams, and you've come across with it, and you said these are the guys who have the best opportunity to win their division.
That's right. Nothing against the guys in front of him. I think Scully's got a pretty good team. Just to be frank and be honest, I think Scully's are hit or miss. He's got the big name guys, and he needs big points out of them every week. And I don't think they're going to be consistent over the long haul. So he'll get some big weeks. He'll score a lot of points, but it's only going to be sporadic in some weeks. Tim Kovac, I'm sorry, Timmy, I'm just not sold on your team yet. You got a quarterback battle between the two of your guys. I like your running backs. The wide receivers can be consistent, but I don't think it's enough to get you where you need to go, especially with the way that Holbrook lines up.
Timmy K, I know you're keeping it quiet because it's a champion's perspective here. Two champs talking. If anything, that's fuel. I believe they call that fuel.
I hope so.
All right. Hey, on the flip side of that, Puff, let's get to the chump part of it.
Yeah. So the chumps.
Yeah.
I guess out of the good division, I think Pete Lamb's taking away the chump trophy here. David Johnson's a bust. We haven't even gone to week 3 yet. Who the hell is Giovanni Bernard? Not really sure who he is anymore. Outside of Adrian Peterson, Jesus Christ, Pete. I hope the Browns do really well for you, but I don't think you have the team to make it deep in the playoffs, even if you get there.
It's tough being a homer.
It is. In the bad division, this is a toss-up, man. I just don't think Davis has enough in the gun to get him where he needs to go. I like Randall Cobb and I like Teddy Ginn Jr., but those guys are 2 flex players, and you only play them when they're playing certain teams where they produce big points. So they're either going to get you a 75-yard touchdown or they're going to give you nothing. And that's a tough combination. So having 2 of those guys on your roster could be a detriment to his team. And then for the ugly, it's a hands down. I think it's Bill, right? Do we need to talk about it?
He's got potential for a 2-time toilet champion. I can't say we've had the same guy who's placed last 2 years in a row. Usually this guy's showing enough initiative in the next year's draft to really draft some guys who are going to up their game. Bill this year, wow, his team is really underperforming, Brian.
And I don't blame Bill. I just think I blame Bill for not doing his homework a little bit. Matthew Stafford, I've had him a couple of years. Matter of fact, I think I won in 2014 with Matthew Stafford, but I had a pretty solid running back crew. Kareem Hunt, he had a great 4 weeks last year, and then after that he was pretty inconsistent. You can ask around about that. Keenan Allen, I'm sure he'll be probably carted off by week 6. Amari Cooper is probably the most underperforming wide receiver out of any wide receiver in the league right now. And Robert Woods is certainly a flex position at best. But, he's got the Titans defense. So, he's got a long way to go before he gets to where he needs to go. So.
Hey, Pup, why don't you explain to Bill about the Matty Stafford effect?
Oh, yeah. By the way, when Matty Stafford goes 2 for 10 or 2 for 20 and fucking 100 yards and gives you 5 points, you don't sit him for the next week because the next week he's going to go off for about 45 points. That's the Matty Stafford effect. You got to stay with him, unfortunately. But in your lineup, you've got Case Keenum. It's up to me, I put Keenum in and just roll with the punches at this point.
Hey, Puff, does that Matty Stafford effect work for any other Matts in the league?
No, it also works. Yeah, of course, it works for Matt Ryan as well. Of course. Timmy, what do you have to say about that?
I think you're wrong on that, on both accounts. Matt Stafford throws for, 4,000 or 5,000 yards a season. once he finds Kenny Galladay, who I believe is on your team, which will be a good pickup, but you'll be dumb and leave him on your bench until it is those weeks that he falls apart. Then you'll put him in. It'll be poetic justice.
TK, what we're talking about is the Matty effect, which is
I understand what you're talking about.
Ryan.
I just don't agree with it.
And
it was Stafford and it was Matt Ryan. I just don't agree with what you guys are talking about. That's all.
Well, here's the gig. Here's the gig. What we're trying to say is that you will misinterpret a Matt Ryan or Matt Stafford issue, and you will sit him for the next game because you're like, oh, he just took a dump on me that game. He's going to take a dump on me this game. Not true. You start him the next game. You get on that flip side, and you get on the back side of who needs to start. So
I understand what you're saying.
Pretend dump. You got to start him next week. Same thing with Matthew Ryan.
I think it was more of a week one because nobody really plays in the preseason anymore than it was anything else.
For being a first-time Matt Ryan owner, you're going to figure it out. You better figure out which week you got to play him on. It should be on every other week.
Sounds like a plan.
So 2 things, Timmy. One, I don't have Kenny Galladay. I was big on him last year. I had him on my bench. 2, Matt Stafford, while he is a good quarterback, second-tier, third-tier quarterback, he is very spotty. And in order to be a champion, you better have good talent around you at the running back and wide receiver position. You can't count on your quarterback position to get you 20-plus points a game. You need to have some good running backs and wide receivers. Matty Stafford is not the guy that you want to rely on to win you a ball game on Monday night when you need it.
There's not a lot of quarterbacks that you would rely on, though. There's only like 4 or 5 of them in the whole league.
All right, come on. You guys are just getting off topic a little bit. What we're talking about is when either of those Matty dudes take a dump on you and you really want to put Case Keenum in come that next week, or tell me who was your starting quarterback?
Garoppolo.
Or Garoppolo. Don't do it. Keep the Matties in, and they're going to.
I love debating with Timmy. It's
a good time.
One of my favorite things to do.
Would you quiet down? And that'll end season 2, episode 2 version with Champion's Perspective. I want to say thank you to our special guest analyst, Tim Kovac. Tim, you got anything to say on the ending?
Well, hopefully I keep guessing right on these victories. But, if you guys do want to participate in the show, feel free to reach out to Smitty and say you want to be on the show. Or if you just want to send a clip in, ask him. He'll send you a little link that you could just click on, and then you can send in whatever you want, and he'll get it into the show.
Good call. Good call. Hey, Puff, 2-time champ 2014, 2017. You got anything you want to say on your ending here?
Thanks for having me, Ryan. I appreciate it. Timmy, great job, as always, in analyzing and breaking down those games. Phenomenal picks last week. I hope you keep it up. And good luck to everybody. I love talking trash, but I hope I get trash talk back. So keep it coming. It's a fun league. Let's have some fun. And thank you.
Roger that. Good call, fellas.
Love debating you too, Puff. Always a good time, bud. Hope to see you on the show again.
I'll be here.
I know.